Well, hey there, hobby homesteaders. Lucas here, and today is another exciting day because we're adding just one more element to our dream garage, and that is this Dewalt air compressor that I picked up as a Black Friday sale all the way back the day after Thanksgiving. Tractor Supply had a sale on these, something like $6.79 or something like that. So I went ahead and ordered it online. I went ahead and picked it up and stored it in the other barn until we could get ready for it. We are going to get it set in place, go ahead and drill our anchors, start hooking it up and running my lines and figuring out how we want to map that all out. So I plan on kind of just doing this video over the course of the next couple of weeks. You'll probably see me change clothes a few times as we do this project, but wanted to go ahead and get started by moving the air compressor over here. All right, now before we get into this video, I just wanted to jump in here and tell you guys that I'm also going to put up a summary video of this whole install, because I know this is going to be a little bit of a longer video for an installation. And if you're just looking for a few tips and tricks or some things that we learned from this process, then you may not want to watch this whole 20-25 minute video. I hope you'll stick around and watch the video and enjoy the process. But if you decide you just need a few tips and pointers, then I'm going to add a card that tells where you can find this other video once I get it completed. If you are looking for just a summary of the products we used and the problems we ran into along the way and some of the things we did to correct those, I'll put a link to that video in the description so you can also check that out. So hopefully that will be helpful to you. What we got?
Oat milk latte. Oh, no, not oat milk. It's cow milk.
Cow milk.
Yeah, we're out of oat milk.
Normally we drink oat milk lattes, which sounds pretty, what's the word? Free? Still good. Chloe makes the best coffee. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now this right here is Cameron's way of reminding us to put oil in it because we laid it down in the truck and some oil leaked out. So these 1/2 inch anchors have to go 2 1/4 inches into the concrete. So that's what we drilled, and then I put a nut on there to drive it down to that depth and make sure we reached that, which we did. I actually didn't do that for the first two, but I wanted to make sure that my depth was right. So I double checked the last one, come out good, so we're ready to roll. So I got the air compressor bolted down, and I decided that I wanted to put a little bit of cushion between the air compressor and the floor. They sell some pads that you can put down, and they're made for the right size, have a hole in them, but y'all know I'm a little bit of a cheapskate, so I try to use the things I've got around. So I found some old horse mat, and I cut that into little squares and drilled a hole in the center of them, and I dropped those on there just to put a little bit of rubber between the feet on the air compressor and the concrete pad. So we got that knocked out. I stopped by Lowe's to try to pick up a few fittings and a ball valve and some things to kind of start getting things plumbed. I'm going to run pipe and put some air outlets in different places in the building. Now, you know, this compressor is capable of doing probably way more than I'll ever do with it. I just decided that I'm not going to go to the expense of running 3/4 inch line through the whole building. I'm not going to need that much air. So I decided to go with 1/2 inch PEX pipe for this project. And of course, you know, if you've done any research, you'll see that there are all kinds of opinions about what kind of pipe to run. Some people swear by black iron, and some people will only use a type of plastic line that's made for airlines that is a plastic coating, then an aluminum tubing, and then another plastic coating around that. That stuff gets pretty expensive. I know lots of guys who have ran PEX and had no problems at all. I also know guys who make up an air cooling manifold coming out of their tank to keep it cool before it hits the PEX, because the hot air can decrease the pressure holding of the pipe. But honestly, our compressor is not going to be used that hard or run that long, and it'll probably be running off of one outlet at a time almost all of the time. So for now at least, I'm gonna run 1/2 inch PEX. If I have any problems with it being hot right out of the compressor, which I got a lead-in line and or lead-in hose and the stuff to get it out and over to the wall to where it's not hard plumbed to the wall, so that we've got some room for vibration and all that. But once it gets to the PEX, if that line is getting hot right out of there, I may later swap it out to some copper or something like that. But, you know, I've seen people complain that copper corrodes on the inside and the black iron rusts on the inside. Of course, PVC pipe, a lot of people say you can use it just fine. Other people say it's really dangerous. CPVC pipe, I've heard used, but I don't think I'd want to use that because I've seen how brittle it can get over time, just having to work with it with plumbing. So everybody's got their opinions. This is what I'm going to do, and I figure even if it ruptures at some point, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I've had hoses blow out and that sort of thing, so I don't think it's anything I need to be too concerned about. If I have problems, I'll just take it out and put something else in. But this is the way we're going to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we'll kind of take you guys along for the ride. So like day 2 or 3 or something of the install. I guess day 3 if you count drilling the holes in the floor and all that. But I went and picked up some more supplies today. I had the wrong size shutoff valve to begin with yesterday, but I also kind of changed my mind on the way I was going to set this stuff up. I got a different lead-in hose because the one I picked up at Lowe's actually was only 1/4 inch, and I'm definitely not feeding the whole system off a 1/4 inch deal. The only thing I could find was 3/8, which we're going to be running 3/8 inch hoses off of it, so it's probably okay, but I would have rather had 1/2, and I may switch it out to 1/2 a little bit later. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and run this and get it set up. I actually, while I was at Harbor Freight, I found a couple things on clearance. This 3/8 inch 50-foot air hose, which is basically identical to the one that they're selling right now for 20 bucks with a different brand name on it. They had it on clearance for like $11, so figured for that money I'd go ahead and grab one. And then I found another 3/8 inch regulator on clearance for $10.97, I think. So I picked that up so I can put it on one of the other locations, and that way we'll have another regulator on that spot. I figure the more the merrier. I can regulate the overall pressure of the lines here at the tank, but if we have regulators at each stop, then we can do different things. So that'll be nice. So I picked that up. Some more fittings and things that I need to kind of go ahead and get going on this. So I sure hope it's enough, because man, prices are insane. What are you gonna do? So we're gonna get on this. You know, like I mentioned before, a lot of you probably have suggestions for things that might work better, and I'll be the first to tell you this is not a how-to video, this is a how I'm doing it video. And that's the way we operate around here. We just try to figure it out along the way. We may get some things set up and then realize that we don't have enough air in certain places or something like that and have to work on it, but kind of learning as we go, so we'll see what we can make out of this mess. Cameron got his new job so we can get discounts. That's right, we gotta outfit the new shop, you know. Man, look at the snow flying. Phew. Working in a t-shirt yesterday and that much snow today. Crazy. But nice and toasty in here. Tell you, this air compressor install has been way more expensive than I expected. I figured, you know, 100, 150 bucks. I'd get my wire and some pipe and plumb everything up. We'd be good to go. And I'm probably 5 times that deep into this. I cannot believe what little brass fittings cost and little PEX couplings and that sort of thing. Anybody want to see $100 worth of fittings? That's $100. 102 actually. I mean, I did get a wall plate, and I got a drain shut-off valve for the bottom of the tank so that I can easily drain it. Which it's going to be nice, but I mean, man. That does not look like $100 worth of stuff to me. Welcome to 2022, I guess, where we all got about a 50% pay cut. Gotta love it. Truth. Come on over here, let me show you a couple things. So we got it mounted, we put it on rubber feet. I put a drain on here with a shutoff valve. And we've got the system sealed. I've got it turned off here right now. We've got our first water separator and regulator. I went ahead and hardwired it because the breaker box is right here. So I got this nice stuff that's shielded wire, so it'll be protected right there. I went ahead and put a chuck right there just because it seems like you're near the air compressor, you ought to have one. That T was a mistake. because I intended to go down this wall with some, and then I realized I didn't want to run it out away from the wall on the front of the posts, but I also didn't want to drill holes in my posts. So had we ran this before we put the insulation on, we could have hidden it, I guess, but I don't know. I kind of like it. So what I ended up doing anyway was I run it along the header across there. And here's our first drop. I had a regulator for this one with no water separator or anything. Come on over to the next one. Our next drop has a water separator and its own regulator. Did you buy a 90? Oh, we didn't put that in. Okay, so we're gonna put a 90 on this and turn that out. I just didn't have it at the time, so we gotta fix that, but we'll get that in a minute. So I tied in and run it along one of the trusses across here. Look how perfectly not straight it is, but that's all right because it's PEX. I mean, that's kind of how it works. This is the first time I'd ever worked with PEX, and so it kind of took me a little bit to figure out like how long to cut them. And these new Evo PEX joints are really cool. If you look in that slot right there, if you can see the green, yeah, you can see the green back in there. That is confirmation that it is fully seated. So anyway, we're going up across there, and actually my intention for this drop was to be on that post over there in the corner. We're gonna have a workbench along this wall. I don't know if it'll come over this far, but I ran out of PEX, like 5 to 6 feet short of being able to run it to that one. So it goes here. That's just kind of the way we operate. And if we decide we want to add on to it once we get moved in and we see what we need, it's real simple. All we got to do is cut into the PEX, throw a T in there, and run some on over. And the PEX itself is relatively inexpensive. A spool of 100 foot of 1/2 inch PEX is only 30 bucks. So that was not the expense. What was the expense was brass fittings. My goodness, they are $5, $6, $7, $9 a piece. So we have hundreds in this project, and I did not expect that. But I think it's gonna be nice. So, moment of truth. Let's kick the power on, see what we got. No spark, so that's a good sign. I've got the airline shut off here right now. So let's go ahead and kick it on. Don't have any tools laying in there or anything, do I? All right, I think we're clear. Cool.
Sounded kind of aggressive.
It did. All right, so we're 0 for 2 coming out of the gate. So we're gonna have some work to do to tighten some stuff up. But we're gonna go ahead and kick the air onto the lines. It goes this way. So I hear some leaks. Might be. Well, actually, this is set on zeros. Drain. I guess you crank it in enough, it stops. Hey, Old Faithful here off of the Cobalt, or off the Craftsman compressor.
Same.
Holding steady. All right, so we got air. You know what? Maybe they are. Yeah. They're backwards.
Yeah.
Both of them. So, rookie in action here. Here's what we did, or what I did. I put both of these clearance Harbor Freight regulators on backwards. so you have to have them cranked up higher than the main regulator pressure, or they blow out air. So we've got a little bit of work to do. And I think that's the Teflon tape deal. And honestly, I'm not thrilled with that. We're gonna have to get all that worked out. That's a little disheartening. But we've got her all plumbed up. So stick with us, we'll get her lined out. All right, so we have a new plan. We're gonna go through all the threaded fittings and try this stuff. Had several guys say that Permatex Blue or Blue Loctite, that's the solution for sealing these up. Figure it's worth a shot. So we're gonna put all this on. We'll have to let it cure. I don't know, may have to leave it overnight. I'll read and see what it says. But so we're gonna forget the Teflon tape, try to seal them up with this JB Weld Blue thread locker and see how that works. Alright, so we had all those leaks the other day when we turned everything on. So we went and we picked up some blue thread locker. Actually JB Weld brand, Permalock. This is the medium strength. And we used this to seal up our system. We took every fitting back apart and we sealed the threads with this stuff. We let it cure for 24 hours. So now we're gonna do another test. Hopefully we have better results this time than we did last time. Just over 5 minutes fill time from 0. So we're much better than last time. We're good to the valve. Moment of truth. This regulator here came off of our old air compressor and I can hear it. Yeah. Looks like we may have to just take that regulator out because it's bad. It's leaking around that whole housing. We are set on 100 pounds. So looks like we are already in much better shape. This one. No leaks there. Let's crank her up to 100. Good. Ah, man. Now this is getting exciting because it's worked. Turn our pressure up. Looks like we can crank it up to 100. Nice. That's my $10 clearance regulator right there. These PEX fittings, just great. It's not spread on our outlet there. We are golden. So guys, seriously, this is a huge relief because I don't know if you could see it on my face or hear it in my voice, but when we turned the air on and every single fitting leaked, I was crushed. I used Teflon thread tape, but I even tried to wrap it in the right direction and all that, but apparently I didn't do it right. I didn't do a good job of sealing those up, and so the thread tape just didn't work for me. But the blue thread locker works perfectly. Not one joint leaking. And I let it cure for 24 hours just to be sure that it dried well, but I had read some things that said that that's the ticket for the brass fittings on airlines, and so that's what I did. And all of the PEX connections are great. No leaks, so we are absolutely in business. I'm super excited about this whole setup. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this process. Man, we're super excited about the shop coming together. The next thing is going to be our lift. The lift will be going in probably in the next week and a half. I'm gonna have to rent a big hammer drill to drill those holes out to put our anchors in the concrete, but yeah, we're ready to stand up those legs and lay it all out. So that's gonna be exciting. Hope you guys come back to watch that. Appreciate all your support. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.